guest today on Touch Basin's Hole left his home country of South Korea in 2003 to pursue a career in professional football with big dreams of becoming the next Park Ji-sung, Hong Myung-bo or An Jung-hwan. Unfortunately, though, after spending several years in the UK and Sweden, he succumbed to injury and had to give up on those dreams. That did not stop him from reaching other goals, though. Soon after his retirement, he became the youngest Korean to acquire the UEFA B coaching license in 2015, and he started his own amateur team here in Korea called STV FC. To tell us about his story, I'm glad to say that we have Mr. Moondog himself in the studio with us now. It's good to have you here with us.
Hello, nice to meet you.
So welcome to the show. I know we've given you a bit of introduction there, but can you start us off by giving a brief introduction in your own words about yourself?
Well, hello, nice to meet you guys. My name is Hong Moon, aka Moondog. That's how they call me. But yeah, I'm a football coach in Korea and running a football team. So running a business in South Korea called STV Football Club.
So how did your football life begin? As I said, you went to England in 2003, but you must have been playing a lot before then to know that you wanted to pursue it as a career.
Well, that's what everybody used to do in South Korea, but I didn't actually play football at all before I went to England.
Okay.
I was just a student learning how to start, like just studying as usual. But then after 2002 World Cup, when I saw us beat Italy, Spain, Portugal, and when you see that Hong Myung-bo scores a goal, bowling his hands around, that was the time. Oh yeah, I need to play football, because that was the only time I saw like everyone in the world, everyone in the country, just united together, and I wanted to feel that again.
So were you good at sports at the time then?
Yeah, I was just generally good at most of the sports, but I wasn't like specifically good at football. But yeah, after the World Cup, it just came into my heart.
So you decided to go to the UK. How old were you?
I was 12.
You're 12, but you knew already that's what you wanted to do.
But I think I was 12, but my mom and my dad were kind like, they wanted me to study at the same time, playing football. And they said, if you want to learn about football, you should go abroad where football started. Wow. So they sent me to England.
That's actually very impressive for your parents to think that if you're going to teach your kid about football, go to the home of football, really.
Yeah, and at the time, it was because of in Korea, there was a lot of hittings and like bully and those kind of things in South Korean football. Right. And my dad was like, he didn't want to see that, any of that, so yeah.
Sure. We've all heard all those stories about how tough life can be for sports stars here in Korea. Yeah. So you went to the UK. How tough was it then to try and do that, to get better in football when you didn't really play football before?
Well, to start with, when I went there, I didn't really play football again because I wasn't being able to speak the language. And my dad was like, if you want to play football, learn the language first. And as a young kid, going there by myself, it took me like 2 years to actually start speaking English. So for that 2 years, I didn't play football at all. And after learning English, it was even more hard because I was bad at football. And as like those people will be like looking at me as an Asian, not good as a footballer. So I was kind of getting bullied, not bullied, but what they say, because I started understanding English, it came straight into my heart. So at the beginning, it was really difficult. But then as I've grown up, it got easier and easier.
Yeah, because especially the kids in England, they would have been playing since they were, yay high. They would have been had football all their lives. But then you were starting at age 14. But still, you end up being quite successful. You almost got a pro. You ended up signing for a pro team, right?
Yeah, like in England, a lot of the pro teams wanted me at the time. But then because of my visa issues, I couldn't really sign the contracts. Yeah.
Right. You had some visa issues, and then you had some troubles with injuries as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a surgery on my knee to start with, and then my last injury was on my hips. So every time I play a match, I wasn't being able to train for 2-3 days. So it was quite difficult for me to carry on as a footballer.
So how did you end up calling it a day? Was the physical side just too difficult?
Yeah, it was too difficult.
Was there a day, or was there a situation when you were like, do you know what, I've had enough?
It's when I went to Sweden. When I went to Sweden, I was living in a countryside, and in there was like nothing else to do except football. Right.
So we should explain. So you were in the UK as a student, but then as you got a bit older, you wanted to sign for a pro team, but then you had some visa issues. So you went back to Korea, but then you went to Sweden to sign for a team, right?
Yeah. So I had a pro contract in Sweden. I was playing matches in the beginning, but because it's so cold there as well. Like I was in the countryside. There was nothing else to do except football, but I wasn't being able to train, just play matches. So throughout the week, I had nothing to do, and my life was getting really bored. And at the same time, being reality, I wasn't getting a lot of money or anything like that. So I was looking into myself, what else? How can I make it more productive? And then I was looking into coaching because I had a FA level 2 by that time. And I was like, oh, let me look more deeply into coaching. And
So
then
what's an FA level 2? Is that a coaching?
it's one below UEFA license.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd already been doing coaching licenses up to that point.
Yeah, when I was 18, I got a FA level 2. So because I wanted to learn more about football.
Right. So that wasn't because you wanted to become a coach. That was because you wanted to improve as a football player then.
Yeah, because when I was speaking to the coaches, I wanted to understand what they say. I wanted to understand better, and I wanted to see in the coach's view. So I went to get the level 2. So yeah.
So once you finished playing as your playing career, you quickly earned your UEFA B license in 2014, and I believe you were the youngest Korean to reach that level, right?
Yeah, well, it went out on the news unofficially, so I think I am the right one. If I'm not the right one, please someone else come up and say, hey, I'm not the right one, so I don't lie about it anymore.
Very humble of you. But did you have it in your mind that you always wanted to be a coach then, at some point in your life?
Yeah, when I went to England and I started playing football, it just came into my mind, like, I wanted to share this experience to Korean people. Like, because I went from the grassroots, and not many people in Korea go to abroad and learn from the grassroots. They would probably go at 18, or they'll probably go when they're professional footballers. So I thought I'm one of the guys who feels those kind of grassroots football, and I wanted to share that experience. So,
how does the licensing process work? How long does it take, and how important is it to get it to become a coach?
well, it's divided in 5 levels. It starts from P license, A license, and then B license, where I am at the moment, and then it goes to FA level 2 and level 1. So from each stage, it takes different times. So first one, it probably takes about 2 months to get it. More second one will be about the 6 month. B license is about for the year, and after that, it's just longer and gets longer and longer.
How many in Korea have this qualification? Do you know?
I don't know in a exact number, but the people who got it officially, I think, is within the 10 people, I think.
Wow, okay.
Or maybe more, but like when they get the certificate in Spain, they don't really verify it. So people who gets from like England or Scotland, Ireland, those kind of UFB license, those qualified license. But I think it's below 20 for sure, I think.
Right, so you're maybe one of a dozen people or so who have this UFB license.
Yeah.
With that license then, does that mean you can coach a professional team?
Well, I think you can coach as a coach, but not as a manager. So up to if you're talking about the pro level, I can be a coach, but can't be a manager. But I can be a manager of the under 18s of pro football team.
From what you've seen with your experience as a player and getting this license from Europe, what do you see as the main difference between football in Korea and Europe?
I think it's the number of people who gets to play football.
Okay.
Like in Korea, from a young age, you have to divide whether you want to study or you want to play football. And once you decide to play football, you don't really study. But in England, it's like everybody studies and everybody plays football. So the hierarchy is so much bigger, and it gets like trimmed up. That's why they have better players and more players. I think that's one of the main difference between South Korea and England. And you get to play against so many different people, so many different nationalities and things like that.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Yeah.
So in Korea, if you want to become a professional footballer, you have to devote your life totally to football from a young age, and that's it. So you don't do anything else. But then that means the people who want to become professional football, there's only a very small number.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So whereas in the UK, there's a bigger pool of people playing football, and that means you can get better talent that comes up who you didn't know might even be good at football.
And the difference is that you don't really know what age you're going to improve and what age you're going to develop. But in Korea, because if you don't start at the young age, you can't really start at 15 or 16. But in England, like, they can start at 15, they can start at 18, so it doesn't really matter. As long as you like football, you want to play football, you always have opportunity to play football. But in Korea, if you don't start at 13 or 14, you can't really start football. So.
Right, so the culture of football in Korea is obviously not as big as in the UK and England. So you came back to Korea after getting your license, and you started your own football club, STV FC.
Yep.
So what was the thinking behind that?
Well, when I was watching football in UK, I saw something called Nike Academy, and they basically got everyone from every world, like the best players, and they was giving out opportunities to people with good coaching sessions, and they improved a lot. They was beating pro teams, a lot of the. So when I was watching that, I thought that was the message for me to actually go back to Korea and start a system like that, so I can give opportunities to people, and people who are 18 or 15 who starts football late, who wants to play. I thought I can give them a chance to actually enter the football league or give them opportunities to play. So
right, so you took something you saw from Europe and bring it over to Korea. So so the people who play in your team, who are they?
Well, most people are from just like going to uni, working or things like that. Or there were people who actually played football but they can't find the team yet, so they come back here to like make fitness and go back to other leagues. So we have all different kind of people. But we are open to like everyone who just likes football, who wants to begin his career as a footballer. They would come in, and we're the footstep for the people to actually enter the lowest league in Korea.
Right, so the aim is to open up the team for anyone who wants to play.
Yeah.
But then I guess you also must be looking out for special talents that you can raise up and perhaps move on to a more professional level as well.
Yeah, so we moved up a lot of players from our team, which is amateur. We moved up them into semi-pro teams, and from there it's up to them how they will get into the pro leagues. But
Sure.
I think we are the bridge. We are the bridge from the semi-pro and amateur, sending people to semi-pro teams at the moment.
So how long has STV FC been going on for then?
Well, we started in 2015.
Okay,
November,
so about 5 years.
5 years,
four and a half years, something like that. Have you had any of your students or anyone in your team move up into the professional level yet?
Not professional level, but they've had like trials, and they always like have those kind of trial and test. And actually, there's one guy who's playing in Swan FC right now.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
okay.
But he wasn't like amateur. He was a footballer in England. He was carrying his football career. He came back, couldn't find a team, so he came into our team for about 6 months a year, and then he got his chance again, and he moved up into Gangwon FC.
That must be very rewarding, seeing people
Yeah.
develop their football skills, something that's what you dreamed of
Yeah.
doing for these people.
Yeah, it was really pleasing to see that. My main aim and my main thought and what I really want to see is that I want to see someone who's never played football before in his life comes into our club and actually make a debut as a professional footballer. We have a lot of players in K4 and K3, which is one just below professional league, but no one actually have stepped up into the pro league yet.
I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Very briefly before you go, what are your goals next then? Are you looking to get, as you said, a higher UEFA license?
Yeah, as a football coach, I want to grow myself up. I want to develop as a football coach, and my aim and my goal is to make a football club in South Korea called STV Football Club and make that club best football club in South Korea. And personally, I want to move on to K-League and national team manager and win a World Cup for South Korea.
Win a World Cup for South Korea?
That is my dream and that is my aim, yes. And I believe I can do it, yes.
We're out of time, but let me just add a little bit on that. What do you mean win a World Cup for South Korea? You want to become the national team manager and that's your ultimate goal?
That's been my ultimate goal since day one I got UEFA B. And
Wow.
I've been doing that, yeah. So I'm on my way because I'm only 30 in Korean age at the moment. Usually they win the World Cup at 55, 60s. So I think I got 25 years to go. And I've started my career very young as a football coach.
Sure, definitely.
So I think I can get there soon.
Well, you certainly have a lot of dreams ahead of you.
Yep.
And as a football fan myself, I'm really excited to see where your career does go from here, whether you can actually win the World Cup. I'm definitely be rooting for you. I definitely agree. Korean football needs more figures like yourself to push the game forward. We'll have to wrap it up there. We've been speaking to football coach and owner of STV FC, Moondog. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.